What's up, guys? For today's adventure and review, we're going to check out the K123 Beginner to Advanced Heli. It is a scale heli, and we're going to have some fun with this one today. We're going to put some FPV on there. We're also going to fly at line of sight, but what a cool looking scale heli. It has lots of really nice detail on here. It looks like a giant heli just shrunk down to a micro size, and you can even see the rivets on the side of this heli. Really nice. 3-rotor design with a flybarless setup on the head and 238mm flexible plastic blades. You also get some extras in the box, which is kind of nice. For our FPV, we have the Cadex Kangaroo and the AKK Nano VTX for our video setup. 6D for the beginners and 3G for advanced heli 3D. And we have 1106 11,000 kV motor and a 1S 500 milliamp battery running the power system, 8502 coreless motor for the tail, and it's under 250 grams, guys. It's 77 grams by itself, and with the battery, it is going to get it up to a total takeoff weight of 88 grams with the FPV setup. That's not bad. That is really nice. So let's go ahead outside now and look at how beautiful this little heli looks outside. I love the way it looks. It looks so real, and it has a great scale look to this little heli. It is just so cool looking. So let's go ahead and do some line of sight flying with it, and after that I'll show you guys some FPV. Now, my first impression, this is my first flight with it. I'm in stability mode right here, so no matter which way I push the right stick, it's not going to roll over and crash into the ground. When I was originally trying to learn how to hover a heli, it was really difficult because 10 years ago we had no stabilized flight controllers, and we had no bail switch. This one does not have a bail switch on here, but in stabilized mode it was really stable, and it will not roll over and flip headfirst into the ground in this mode. If you go into the 3D mode, then you can flip it upside down and do very mild tick-tocks. But again, this is not really a 3D heli in my opinion. The tail blew out a couple times when I went upside down. If you try that with this heli, make sure you have plenty of height. So that's going to be my recommendation for guys that buy this one. Mostly it's really for just flying around and like a real helicopter would, and that's mainly how a lot of scale helis fly. So this one's really not a 3D machine in my opinion, but it looks really awesome in the air. And look at that, I'm proud of myself. I was able to land on the box as my little landing pad there. My helo pad, pretty cool. So let's go ahead and do some FPV now. Now this is where you can really have some fun. I love to put cameras on pretty much anything, a heli, a little car, anything that moves. I like to be able to FPV, and this we can be critical. It does have some pretty hardcore vibrations there, but what's neat about this little heli, FPVing it, it's a lot of fun because it's ultra small. And years ago, we used to build 600 and 700 millimeter size setups, and they were quite large. And a lot of times when we were doing FPV with those, we used a monitor so we could see outside of our image. And this one's small enough that you can strap up the goggles and not really have to worry about killing yourself, because it is a really tiny heli, and it's likely not to hurt or harm anyone else out there, persons or animals. And we had an animal chasing after it pretty much my entire flight demo. This guy came walking up with a pit bull, and the pit bull chased my heli around for the remainder of my battery. But I wanted to show you guys that proximity wise, this is a lot of fun because it's such a small scale. It fits in the palm of your hand. It's really lightweight. It has the plastic blades on there. It's not carbon fiber, so it's not gonna, hurt the dog or cut the dog's mouth if he does decide to destroy my heli. But I'm gonna keep it away from him, and I'm gonna keep it out in the field quite a bit. I couldn't go too far out because I was running 25 milliwatt, but I wanted you guys to see that it is so small and you can really get in there in between things. And what's neat about this little heli is that it will slow down a lot and hover just like a quadcopter will. And I can go close to the ground in between the trees there and really just do some exploration with this. And what's great about this is that I can't believe the fact that this thing is so small, and number two, it runs close to 8 minutes on a 1S 500 milliamp battery. You can run a larger battery, like a 600 or 700 milliamp, if you decide to run it without the canopy on. And right now I'm running a little bit larger battery. I'm running a 600 milliamp battery, and I was able to do some hovering, also staying away from the dog. And this guy decided he was just gonna hang out my entire flight. He really liked the little heli, and he was mentioning that he'd like to get back into it, as he's been flying years before. He's retired now and looking to get back into doing something. So this is accessible for a lot of people, because you could take this literally out in just about any park and really not bother anybody except for the pit bulls. And that pit bull is not giving up, you guys. He's dedicated to grab and snatch my heli and break it. But if you know anything about pit bulls, man, they have some strong jaws. And this thing is really, really lightweight plastic. It's not going to hurt the dog, but man, it will really destroy this little heli. Because at the micro scale, it does have a pretty high head speed, but it's really fragile. But as far as 3D goes, I did a little bit of mild 3D with it, you guys, and the tail blew out on me a few times, and I crashed trying to do a TikTok. And that's not my flying skills, it's actually the tail motor. So if they had chosen a brushless tail motor, it probably would have held for some 3D. Even though it has the 3D option on here, again, it's not really set up for hardcore 3D. More like mild 3D. You can do momentary inverted flight with it, but mainly it's a scale heli, and most of the scale guys are flying them back and forth in the field like a real heli would fly. And I love the shadow on the ground when I'm flying and I see the heli shadow. That's really neat. I'm gonna try to go over here and go make this gap underneath this goalpost. It's a little bit of breakup further away because I'm only running 25 milliwatt, but you can crank this VTX, I believe it was up to like 400 milliwatt, and you'll get way less breakup or static on the screen. But I think the Kangaroo camera has nice vivid and bright colors here. Looks really good, and it's one of those perfect days to fly a little heli too. If you had a really big space indoors, in stability mode, you could fly this one indoors in like a gymnasium if you have an AMA meet, or you have a local club that rents out a place once a week like ours. Portland Sky Nights rents out a local church, and a lot of the guys bring their micros to the church. This is one of those ones where you could fly at a meet indoors, which is really cool. Very similar to a lot of the Horizon Hobby micro size helis. Some of the micro size helis can get really aggressive on the 3D side of things, but they're particularly made for 3D. And this one's mostly made for just cruising. But I really wanted to get a hold of this heli and show you guys this heli because I love the way it looked with the 3 rotors. And I've never actually owned a 3-rotor heli. I've always had the bi-blade helis. 2-blade traditional style helis. But really a lot of fun to FPV. And look at this, now I'm getting more comfortable with it, so I'm making little passes in between the trees. Just enjoying flying it. And I love the fact that it's amazing that you can get like almost 7.5 minutes with a 1S 500 milliamp battery. And guys, if you're looking to extend your flight time to around 10 minutes, you could put a little bit larger battery on there, but you know, like I mentioned, you're gonna have to take the canopy off to do that because the battery will start to hit the motor if you put anything bigger than a 500 milliamp battery. And you don't want this battery touching the motor while it's spinning. And there's a dog knocked the heli over. Dog is completely fine. No dogs were harmed in the making of my video. But now some final thoughts and opinions on this little scale heli. It is definitely a scale heli, guys. It's not a 3D machine. The tail did blow out a few times on some mild 3D. It just kind of wobbles to the side or spins around. But the FPV experience was spot on, and I love the tri-blades on top. It does look really cool with the camera on the bottom too. It looks like a little police helicopter or something. So I definitely suggest trying to do some FPV on this one because it's not super dangerous to FPV like the bigger ones are. And honestly, this is a great heli for the beginner guys. If you're trying to learn how to hover and just sort of baby steps walk into non-stabilized flying, this one is good for that because it's quite durable in the crashes. Mine slam dunked into the grass and none of the links popped off the head, which was kind of amazing. They also give you extra links inside the box and an extra flywheel, which is nice. So a little bit extra parts, and you can buy extra parts for this one as well. It's not like a one-off Walmart type of toy. So this is more like hobby grade, and actually a really good high scoring 5-star heli. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.